fire went out, but embers don't die. They just wait. There's an ember underneath, burning slow beneath the grief. You can bury what you feel, but the fire makes it real. I pack my feelings into boxes, put them high on dusty shelves. I became so good at hiding, even from my darkest self. I wore the mask of someone stable, showed up smiling at the table, but inside the walls were paper, and the wind was getting greater. Then I heard the violin at midnight, cutting through my careful quiet, like a voice that always knew me, like a hand that could see through me. And the bass dropped like a confession, every note a new transgression. Against the silence I was keeping, against the wounds I stopped from bleeding. I can't pretend the cold is comfort, can't keep living half awake. Something underneath is burning, and it burns for something great. I've got an ember underneath, beneath the ash, beneath the grief, beneath the girl who learned to kneel. I've got a fire that won't yield. Call me quiet, call me tamed, I've been burning with no name. There's an ember underneath, and it's finally finding heat. I used to hand my broken pieces to everyone who said they'd fix it, but they kept the parts they wanted and returned the rest as fragments. So I gathered every splinter, carried them into the winter of this city, dark and glowing, with nowhere left worth going. But the music found me kneeling on the floor without a ceiling, and it said you were not empty, you were full, but they were greedy. So I rose inside the rhythm, found my altar in the system of the bass and violin, weaving something close to true believing. Can't pretend the numb is healing, can't keep drowning what is real. Something underneath is waking, and it wakes for something real. I've got an ember underneath, beneath the ash, beneath the grief, beneath the girl who learned to kneel. I've got a fire that won't yield. Call me quiet, call me tamed, I've been burning with no name. There's an ember underneath, and it's finally finding heat. Maybe I was always fire, just surrounded by the rain. Maybe every failed attempt was the ember learning pain. Maybe God was not ignoring, maybe God was just refining, burning off the borrowed versions, letting only me keep shining. So I'll stop apologizing for the heat inside my chest, for the way I love too deeply, for the way I can't suppress. The ember is not dangerous, the ember is my name. I was never almost over, I was always almost there. I was never ash, I was seed, and the fire is finally freed. They tried to bury the fire, but you can't bury an ember. give it air. Some nights I tune into a frequency only the broken can hear. I'm a ghost frequency, dancing where you cannot see. The violin is calling me home. Even saints can feel alone. In someone else's life, I wore a smile like borrowed clothes and hid the trembling no one knows. The city hums a lullaby for every girl afraid to cry. I press my back against the wall and let the bassline catch my fall. I've been invisible so long, I almost forgot how to song. But then the strings began to rise and open something in my eyes. A frequency I've always known, that secret place I call my own, where everything I buried deep comes back alive in half my sleep. I'm done pretending I don't feel it, done hiding what the music knows. The pain is real, but so is beauty. Watch me let it all compose. I am a ghost frequency, caught between the dark and free. Every note inside my chest, God put cracks to let light rest. Call me haunted, call me hollow. I've got oceans left to swallow. I'm a ghost frequency, and the night is making me. I used to sit in empty rooms and talk to God about my wounds. He never answered back in words, just sent the violin the chords. The low vibration in my bones that said I never was alone. I found a gospel in the deep, a truth too sacred for my sleep. I've been the ghost at every table, present but somehow unable to touch the life right in my hands. Too lost inside my shifting sands, but something in the after hours gives me back my broken powers. The dance floor is my confessional, and every tear becomes devotional. I'm done pretending I don't need it, done starving what the silence grows. The dark is real, but so is glory. Watch how far this river flows. I am a ghost frequency, caught between the dark and free. Every note inside my chest, God put cracks to let light rest. Call me haunted, call me hollow. I've got oceans left to swallow. I'm a ghost frequency, and the night is making me. before sound. Maybe God was just composing something holy and profound. So I'll lean into the tension, I'll surrender to the bow. Every frequency has purpose, every ghost has somewhere to go. Frequency, no longer lost, I'm found in me. And the night finally set me free. I was never disappearing, I was becoming a frequency. I used to shine so easily before I learned how much it cost. I'm the ghost of gold, everything I was before, shining in the dark like I don't hurt anymore. I used to walk into a room and feel it, the warmth that rises when you own your light. I used to give without a thought to keep it. I used to trust the day as much as night. But something in the years began to dim me. The slow erosion of 1,000 cuts. The love that looked like love but came to skin me. The doors that kept on closing just because. And I became a practice kinda hollow, a golden surface over empty rooms. I learned to let the admiration follow, while keeping everyone outside the wounds. The city sees the shimmer from a distance. Nobody asks what hides beneath the gold, and I perfect a beautiful resistance, a ghost inside a story being told. I'm tired of performing all this brightness for a crowd that only loves the shine. There's something in the dark that feels like rightness, something in the breaking feels divine. I'm the ghost of gold, haunting what I was before, glowing in the spaces where I don't exist no more. Ghost of gold, beautiful and barely whole. Everybody sees the shimmer, nobody has seen my soul. Ghost of gold. I felt the hand of every empty mirror, rehearsed the smile until it felt like skin. I've been the light that made the dark feel clearer, for everyone but her who lived within. I gave the gold to every open hunger, fed the room and walked home starving still. And I would do it all again. I wonder if that's the ghost or if that's just my will. But 2 a.m. those things that daylight covers, the violin confesses what I hide. The bass unlocks what daylight always smothers. The dance floor is the only place I cry. And I release it in the rise and falling of a melody that sounds like coming home, like God is in the frequency calling the ghost of gold back into flesh and bone. I'm done with only giving what looks golden, I'm done with shining just to be consumed. Something real is rising and it's broken, and broken things can still illuminate a room. I'm the ghost of gold, haunting what I was before, glowing in the spaces What if gold was never shield? What if I was made for shining, not to hide behind but feel? What if every crack and fracture, every place the light came through was not proof that I was breaking, but the realest thing I knew? I've been hunting my own body, living in the afterglow of a version built for others, of a self I had to go. So I'm leaving her with kindness, setting down the golden weight. The ghost of gold is not my future, real and raw is not too late. I'm the ghost of gold, haunting what I was before, glowing in the spaces where I don't exist no more. Ghost of gold, beautiful and barely whole. Everybody sees the shimmer, now they finally see my soul. I was never just the golden, I was everything I'm told. Not a ghost, not just a shimmer, I was always more than gold. The gold was real, but the girl beneath it was so much more valuable. I built a church inside my chest, but nobody came to pray. I'm a hollow cathedral, echoes where the people were. God is in the frequency, and the violin is my prayer. I gave my light to hollow people, poured myself through cracks and steeples. Love so hard my edges thin, and still they left me in the wind. I built my walls from others' voices, gave them all my sacred choices, showed them every room inside me, every corner where they'd find me. Then I stood inside the silence, after all the noise and violence of a love that looked like worship but was only taking purchase. And I fell into the city, dark and broken without pity. Let the streets become my altar, let the night become my psalter. I'm not waiting to be rescued, I'm not praying to be found. I'm rebuilding every column from the rubble on the ground. I'm a hollow cathedral, high and cold and beautiful. Every crack lets in the sacred, every wound is spiritual. Call me empty, call me open, I've been both and I was chosen. I'm the hollow cathedral, and the music makes me whole. I used to think that being hollow meant that I had nothing left, but hollow things carry echoes, hollow lungs still carry breath. I've been the vessel and the vigil, I've been signaled through the static, through the heartbreak, through the giving, through the mistake. On this dance floor full of seekers, every soul a little weaker from the weight of living upright in a world that kills your young life. But we find each other's frequencies, we vibrate ancient remedies. The violin becomes a sermon and the bass becomes a certain. I'm not waiting to be rescued, I'm not kneeling just to bleed. I'm becoming something sacred from the hollow came to need. I'm a hollow cathedral, water, like a vessel holds the wine. Maybe I was made for carrying something greater than my story, made to echo something holy, made to amplify the glory. So I'll stop sealing up my caverns, stop apologizing for my space. I was built with vaulted ceilings, I was built to hold His grace. Every crack becomes a window, every wound becomes a door. I was never just a ruin, I was always so much and I've never been alone. The hollow was never emptiness. It was just space for something divine to move in. I stopped looking for God in churches. I started finding Him at 3 a.m. in the wreckage of everything I thought I knew. This is my midnight theology, where the broken find their way. God is in the frequency, and the violin is how I pray. I was raised on Sunday answers for the questions I had Monday, but the faith they gave me crumbled every ordinary Sunday. So I walked into the city, let the neon be my steeple, let the bassline be my scripture, let the lost ones be my people. Found my altar on the dance floor, found my sermon in the minor, found the sacred in the spaces where the light kept getting finer, and the violin came slowly through the smoke and through the sorrow, like a thread of something holy, pulling me toward a tomorrow. I had lost the map completely, but the music kept on speaking, and at midnight something opened in the wound that kept on leaking. I don't have the clean answers, I don't have the polished prayer, but I feel something real and breathing in the dark beyond despair. This is my midnight theology, raw, unreal, and unrefined. God is in the frequency, and grace is what I find. Midnight theology, where the broken come to breathe, where the violin is gospel and the bass is what I need. Midnight theology, and I finally believe. I have prayed in perfect buildings with the words that others gave me. I have won the right expressions while the doubt inside would cave me. But the midnight has no pretense. Midnight takes you as you're standing, doesn't need the polished version, doesn't need your understanding. And I found more real devotion in my questions than my answers, in the grief that had no comfort, in the joy of broken dancers, in the girl who lost her mother, in the boy who lost his vision, in the 2 a.m. confession, in the holy indecision of a soul that keeps on reaching through the darkness, through the aching. Maybe God was never only in the places built for God. Maybe he was in the crying, in the ordinary flawed, in the 3 a.m. of desperate, in the shaking hands of real, in the music that unlocks the thing that nothing else can heal. I have been so far from perfect, I have wandered far from the shore, but I never stopped the searching, and he met me on the floor. Not the floor of marble churches, but the floor of my undoing, where the midnight held me gently while I wept and while I'm moving. So I built my faith from midnight, from the honest and the raw, from the questions more than answers, from the beauty in the flaw. This is not the faith I inherited, this is the faith I earned. This is midnight theology, and the fire finally burned. This is my midnight theology, raw and real and unrefined. God is in the frequency, and grace is what I find. Midnight, midnight theology, where the broken come to breathe, where the violin is gospel and the bass is what I need. Midnight theology, I was lost and now I see the sacred found the real me. Midnight theology, and I finally believe you don't have to be whole to be holy. You just have to be honest and keep showing up at midnight. The city taught me things the quiet never could. Every neon sign a verse, every shadow a scripture. I had to learn alone. I write my neon songs on the windows of the night. Every scar becomes a sentence, every darkness finds its light. I walk these streets like open pages, writing down what broke me open. Every corner held a chapter, every silence held a token of the girl I was before this, of the dreams I carried lightly, before the city showed me edges, before the weight pressed down so tightly. And I learned to read the pavement, learn the language of the lamppost, learn the beauty lives in margins, in the things that matter almost. And the neon kept on burning, through the fog and through the grieving, like a song without a hymnal, like a faith without a ceiling. So I started writing mine, in the only tongue I carry, in the broken and the breathing and the temporary. Every city has a gospel, written by the ones who stayed. I am reading mine in neon, I am writing mine in ink. These are my neon songs, written in the after hours. Every wound becomes a window, every storm becomes a power. Neon songs glowing through the darkest night. I was never just a broken building you keep on finding, but the city has no patience for the ones who wait for perfect. Every crack in every sidewalk says your story has a purpose. And I started seeing altars in the places I've been hiding, in the subway at 2 a.m. and the strangers coinciding, in the woman counting change, in the child drawing on the concrete, in the music from the window of the street. I had to compete with every life a line of scripture, every face a different chapter, every heartbreak or refrain. I kept singing even after. Every city has its broken, writing songs they never planned. I am one of them and grateful. Finally I understand. These are my neon songs written in the after hours. Every wound becomes a window, every storm becomes a power. Neon songs glowing through the darkest night. I was never just the broken, I was always becoming light. On songs, and I sing them without shame. What if psalms were never only written in the holy places? What if God was always writing through the ordinary faces? Through the loss that had no lesson, through the love that had no reason, through the night that stretched to forever, through the turning of each season. I have been the unnamed city, I have been the unlit corner, but the neon found my window and I let it be my armor. Not the armor of perfection, not the armor of the fearless, but the armor of the honest, raw and real and nearly tearless. So I write my psalms in neon, in the language of the living, in the aching and the beauty, in the taking and the giving. Every line a little braver, every verse a little truer. Every night I write another, and the morning finds me newer. These are my neon songs written in the after hours. Every wall becomes a window, every storm becomes a power. Neon songs glowing through the darkest night. I was never just a broken, I was always becoming light. Neon songs, I write them with my scars, I sing them to the stars. These are my neon songs, and they were mine from the start. Every city has its psalms, written by the ones who stayed, who broke, who wrote anyway. I thought ruins meant the end. But some things are holiest when they're open to the sky. I am am sacred ruins, beautiful and cracked wide open. I am sacred ruins, most alive when I am broken. This life with borrowed courage, stacked the stones from other people, made my altar from their approval, made my steeple from their sequel. Every crack I rushed to cover, every fault line I denied, kept the structure looking perfect while the inside slowly died. Then the season turned without me and the walls began to shift, and the thing I feared the most came like a slow and silent gift, because the falling felt like terror, but the open felt like grace, and the ruin of my structure became my most sacred space. I stopped running from the fractures, stopped pretending I was whole. Something lives inside the open, something ancient in my soul. I am sacred ruins, beautiful and cracked wide open. I am sacred ruins, most alive when I am broken. Let the walls come down, let the sky pour through. Sacred in my ruins, I am finally true. I am sacred ruins, and I'm not ashamed. I have been the pristine chapel, closed and cold and carefully kept. I have been the enter stopped when no honest prayer was wept. But the ruins hold a different worship, rough and real and uncontrolled, where the wind moves through the arches and the stories can be told. I have stood in ancient places where the walls had all come down, and felt more God in broken columns than in any perfect crown. So I stopped mourning my destruction, stopped apologizing for my scars. I became the open ceiling, I became the view of stars, and the violin plays through my fractures. Every note a ray of light, every break becomes a window, every wound becomes a sight. I stop grieving for the perfect, stop pretending stone is soul. Something breathes inside the broken, something broken can be whole. I am sacred ruins, beautiful and cracked wide open. I am sacred ruins, most alive when I am broken. Let the walls come down, let the sky pour through. Sacred in my ruins, I am finally true. I am sacred ruins, and I'm not ashamed. Maybe God prefers the open, maybe grace needs room to breathe. Maybe all my careful building was just fear beneath the eaves. Maybe I was always meant to stand exposed beneath the rain. Let the elements move through me, let the holy bear my name. I have been the locked cathedral, I have been the sealed and shut. Now I am the ancient ruin, beautiful because I cut every rope that held the ceiling, every stone that kept me small. And the most divine thing happened when I finally let it fall. Sacred is not clean and covered, sacred is not sealed and kept, sacred is the open fracture. sacred ruins, and I have never been so found. The most sacred places were never the ones with perfect walls. They were the ones open enough for God to walk through. The city never sleeps, and neither do I. Broken lights on wet pavement, I find God in the basement. Every scar is an ornament. I'm burning, I'm luminescent. I walk through the neon rain with nothing left to lose but pain. The violin was playing low, like something only lost girls know. I carried every word you said, like stones that live inside my head. But somewhere past the avenue, I found a version of me that's true. The bass drops and I close my eyes. I'm finally free in my disguise. No one knows what I left behind, just the echo of a fractured mind. And I don't need saving anymore, I just need the night, the floor, the music pulling at my core. Something holy in this roar. I am a shattered glass cathedral. Every piece reflects the light. I was broken, now I'm see-through, beautiful in black and white. Call me faithless, call me fragile, I still rise above the crowd. I am a shattered glass cathedral, singing silence way too loud. I used to pray on empty floors, begging heaven to open doors, but heaven sent me basslines deep and violin to break my sleep. I found my altar on the stage, a 20-something girl in rage and grace. And grace, the kind that doesn't need a name, just 2 a.m. and dancing flames. I stopped apologizing for the way I love the way I'm on. The city's cold but I am warm, I found my soul inside the storm. And I don't need answers anymore, just the truth behind the door, the feeling crashing to my core. Something holy in this roar. I am shattered glass cathedral. Every piece reflects the light. I was broken, now I'm see-through, beautiful in black and white. Call me faithless, call me fragile, I still rise above the crowd. I am shattered glass cathedral, singing silence way too loud. Maybe God is in the music, maybe grace is in the bass, maybe healing isn't linear, maybe this is sacred space. I don't need white walls and silence, I find holy in the dark. Every scar is constellations, every wound becomes a spark. shattered, I am holy, I am lost and I am found, singing silence way too loud. You were never really broken, you were just becoming light. Every time I almost gave up, the music pulled me back. Silver collapse on the bedroom floor. God left the light beneath the door. I bleed in minor keys tonight. Even broken things catch light. Counted every cracked up tile I had and smiled in such a while. The mirror showed a stranger's face, a girl who lost her saving grace. I dressed myself in borrowed calm and walked through storms with open palms. The city swallowed all my cries and gave me back 1,000 lights. I found the bass beneath my feet, a heartbeat matching my heartbeat. The violin crawled through my veins and named the things I couldn't name. I used to think that falling meant that everything was nearly spent, but falling taught me how to land in something greater than I planned. I'm not collapsing, I'm releasing every wall I built from fear. The music knows what words can't carry, and it's pulling me from here. This is my silver collapse, where the old me finally cracks, where the pain becomes the golden map. This is my silver collapse, not the end but the overlap, where I lose myself to find me back. Silver collapse. Silver collapse. I've been the girl who held it in, who prayed in silence, prayed again, who thought that asking was a sin, who wore her wounds beneath the skin. But 2 a.m. is different rules. The night forgives the broken fools, and everybody on this floor has been through something to the core. I saw a girl with tear-stained cheeks, dancing hard through 7 weeks of something heavy, something real. We never said it, but we feel the bass connects what words divide. The violin gives voice inside to everything we never said, to all the prayers we left for dead. I'm not collapsing, I'm becoming something I don't recognize. The chrysalis was always painful. Watch the wings begin to rise. This is my silver collapse, where the old me finally cracks, where the pain becomes the golden map. This is my silver collapse, not the end but the overlap, where I lose myself to find me back. Silver collapse. Silver collapse. I thought silver meant surrender, thought it meant I lost the war. But silver is the color after every storm has hit the shore. Silver is the morning after, when the night has done its work. Silver is the scar that's healed now, beautiful beneath the hurt. So collapse into the music, let the old you fall away. You were never meant to carry everything that made you gray. Let it crack, let it open, let the frequency come through. Silver is not weakness, darling. Silver is the real you. doesn't break. It bends and becomes something new. I didn't fall apart all at once. It was velvet. It was slow. It was beautiful. And it destroyed me. Velvet undertow, pulling where the lost girls go. Soft enough to feel like love, deep enough to pull me under. I walked into it with my eyes wide. Thought the current was just tight. Thought the warmth was just the season. Thought the drowning had a reason. He was everything the night made, beautiful and softly handmade. Spoke in frequencies I craved, and then I followed like I never learned to be afraid. The city blurred at the edges. I was dancing on the ledges of a feeling with no bottom. Something golden, something rotten. And the violin began its morning, playing softly without warning. For the girl who knew the danger, but still walked toward the stranger. I felt it pulling long before I let it. I saw the depth and still I dove. Something in the velvet made me reckless. Something in the dark I had to know. Velvet undertow, I let it take me slow. Every warning felt like music. Every danger felt like home. Velvet undertow, I was beauty in the low. I was everything I lost there. I was everything I know. Velvet undertow. I've been the girl beneath the surface, smiling up through all the murky, holding breath for someone else's comfort in my own deserving. But the water has a memory, it remembers every entry. Every time I gave permission for the pull to become prison. And I'm tired of the velvet, tired of the soft and subtle way that certain things destroy you while they whisper that they love you. So I pressed my feet to bed where I found the ground beneath the deadlock of a feeling I've been feeding while it slowly kept me bleeding. I felt it changing long before I named it. I saw the floor and chose to rise. Something in the struggle made me sacred. Something opened in my eyes. Velvet undertow, I let it take me slow. Every warning felt like music. Every danger felt like home. Velvet undertow, I was beauty in the low. I was everything I lost there. I was everything I know. Velvet undertow. There is a kind of love that drowns you with the softest pair of hands. There is a kind of pull that ruins you while making you feel grand. I have been beneath that velvet, I have kissed that dark goodbye. I have stood inside the undertow and chosen not to die. So now I move a different water, now I feel the current change. Now the violin plays differently, now the loss became the gain. I survived the velvet softness, I survived the beautiful decay. And everything that tried to pull me under taught me how to pray. velvet was real. The danger was real. But so was the girl who swam back up. I stopped running from the dark. The dark became my home. Velvet wounds and neon prayers. God is somewhere on these stairs. I bleed in frequencies. The night is healing me. I left my old life at the door, traded silence for the floor, where basslines breathe and bodies sway, and broken people find their way. I used to hide inside my skin, afraid of everything within. But then the violin came through and split me open, let light bleed through. I don't remember who I was before the music gave me cause to stand inside the storm and say I'm not afraid of yesterday. The city holds me like a prayer, neon halos everywhere. I found my church at 2 a.m. and I'll never be the same again. I'm not the girl who breaks in silence, I'm the girl who breaks in light. I don't need saving from this darkness, I just need to own the night. These are velvet wounds I'm wearing, every cut became a crown. I was shaking, I was tearing, now I'm dancing on the ground. Call me broken, call me burning, I've been both and I survived. These are velvet wounds and darling, that's the proof that I'm alive. I've been the girl who prayed too hard for someone else to heal her scars, but grace don't always come in white. Sometimes it comes on Friday night, with a bass line and a violin, and strangers turning into kin. We're all just searching in the sound for something sacred to be found. I wore my pain like winter coats, it kept me warm but stole my notes. My voice was buried under fear until the music made it clear that everything I thought was lost was just becoming something more. The wound becomes the window light, the dark becomes the open door. I'm not the girl who fades in silence, I'm the girl who glows in pain. I don't need rescue from the story, every scar has got my name. These are velvet wounds I'm wearing, every cut became a crown. I was shaking, I was tearing, now I'm dancing on the ground. Call me broken, call me burning, I've been both and I survived. These are velvet wounds and darling, that's the proof that I'm alive. I used to think that God forgot me, left me standing in the cold, but maybe he was just remaking every broken part to gold. Maybe pain was never punishment, scar becomes a lesson, every loss becomes a turn. Velvet wounds and darling, I don't just survive, I rise. That's the proof that I'm alive. The wound was never the end, it was always the beginning.